What's going on, guys? It's Corey from Lion Dads, and today we're going to be talking about this is going to apply to some of you hard gainers out there. I know that's not traditionally why most people come to this diet, but that's kind of what I've gotten a lot of questions on it lately. I've got some people asking about it, and I thought today'd be a good time to go ahead and talk to you hard gainers about how you can use a carnivore diet to accomplish your goals, because you certainly can. But before we get started on that, go down to the description of the video, go to www.lion-dads.com, and get your free guide on starting a carnivore diet. It's got everything you need in there to get started on a carnivore diet and start losing weight today. It's got a grocery list in there. Take it shopping, buy all the foods, take them home, start preparing them, and start losing weight, getting fit, getting your health back, and starting a carnivore diet. So, like I said, today I want to kind of talk about like hard gainers, how to gain muscle and strength, things like that on a carnivore diet. Can it be done, and kind of how to do it. So, getting into it, like I'll talk about like what is a hard gainer, right? Like a hard gainer is a guy who maybe is more naturally on the slimmer side, skinnier side, slender side, however you want to describe it, who has like a desire to put on muscle and puts in all the work and everything, but they just kind of stay skinny, right? It's a genetic thing, often. So speaking on this subject, I am not a hard gainer. I am a hard loser. That's the way I kind of describe myself. More of a, I'm more of a bigger framed body type. It's really easy for me to put on weight. It's really easy for me to put on fat. It's also pretty easy for me to put on muscle. So it's kind of a, you take the good with the bad a little bit. But I got to this point because I was putting on too much fat and not enough muscle, right? So, but being a hard gainer is another totally different end of the spectrum. You're more of a, okay, I can't really, I'm trying to add muscle and it's a little hard. And then, you have the misconception that the carnivore diet's pretty much for weight loss, and most people come to it for weight loss. That is true. That is 100% correct. But, it can be beneficial for people looking to gain weight, looking to build muscle and things like it's actually perfect for that. So let's talk about that a little bit. I just want to kind of get into that. So I kind of went over what a hard gainer is, but let's talk about why you can kind of use a carnivore diet to gain, weight, gain strength, gain muscle, things like that. And one of the biggest benefits that it does have in a carnivore diet is protein. You're eating an animal-based diet, animal products, animal foods. I don't like saying product when I'm talking about carnivore foods because you should be eating actual food. But it's good because it should have a high protein content, right? And that protein's the most bioavailable protein on the planet, especially if you're eating like the red meat, the beef, and things like that. And you can kind of play around with it. You can eat leaner cuts, or you can eat bigger, fattier cuts, but just be aware, like having the protein content that you need to build muscle is awesome as part of a carnivore diet. That's actually a big benefit of doing a carnivore diet, is the amount of protein that you can consume, as long as you can consume the calories. And to be a hard gainer, to put on that mass, to put on that size, you do need to consume probably more food than most people do. But that's something to think about, you know. But the animal based proteins are definitely a huge benefit of the carnivore diet. So, like I said, like the nutrient density in meat, in animal foods, especially the red meats, the beef, things like that, the bioavailability of the beef, of the protein, of the nutrients, and there's also minimal anti-nutrients in the food. There's, you're not going to get a lot of toxic substances in there. You know, especially if you're getting like the higher quality beef you can get. It really doesn't matter. You can get the stuff in the store; it works just fine. But there's a lot of great research and a lot of great insights out there on why people can gain muscle, build muscle on this carnivore diet, gain some weight, and start getting stronger and bigger and things like that. So, another some other benefits you can find, that'll help you in your journey to building mass, to putting on weight and stuff like that, is comes with a carnivore diet is like your improved energy levels. That's one thing that's big on a carnivore diet, is just more energy, better sleep, better recovery. I've noticed. These are things that I've noticed, that clients have noticed, that my friends who've done it, family that have done it, have noticed. Your performance just gets better on this diet because of the sleep, of the improved energy, of the improved recovery and stuff. That all goes hand in hand with getting the right nutrients, getting the right food in you, and stuff like that. So, those are things you got to think about, and take advantage of when you're on this diet, and just embrace them, and, implement that in order to start seeing benefits. And you're not going to see them right away. Obviously, you don't get to where you're at in one day. For whatever your new goal is going to be, you're not going to reach that new goal in a day. It's just common sense, right? But let's talk about like some practical tips you can do to implement a carnivore diet for muscle building. And it's kind of like what I kind of preach is just kind of do the opposite of what I tell my clients need to lose weight to do, and that's kind of controlling how much you're eating, right? Um, for a lot of clients come to me that are obese, that are out of shape, that are overweight, I might implement some different strategies to help them along the way. I might implement some like fasting, intermittent fasting, alternate day fasting, things like that. If they want to control what they're taking in, from an amount standpoint, they don't want to count calories, they don't want to do things like that. So you can kind of, implement these different strategies to control the amount of food that comes in. And what I would say with a hard gainer is, you're kind of doing the opposite. You're kind of going to have to pile some food down if you want to put weight on. You need to bring in more than you're burning off. And if you got a higher metabolism as a hard gainer, as a skinnier guy, as somebody who's you know maybe always on the go, and you've run into these problems of putting on mass and things like that, you probably it makes common sense that you need to eat. You need to put food down, but you're putting down the right food. You're sticking to the higher fat, higher protein cuts of meat and things like that. You're eating a lot of beef. You can implement you can kind of get away with implementing more dairy, like with some of my my heavier clients or whatever, that somebody that I'm working with that comes to me, if they're having a hard time losing weight, I might cut a lot of dairy and stuff like that out of their diet, even though they are, most sources are pretty carnivore friendly. I'm cutting out cheeses, I'm cutting out heavy creams, butters, things like that. Other than for cooking and things like that, like, but you can feel free to add these things to your diet if you want, and kind of experiment with them and play with amounts and stuff, and say, hey, look, if I eat this amount of beef and then I throw some butter in with it and have some cheese, and I can have some heavy whipping cream and things like that, like, I'm actually putting the weight on, I'm actually putting some size on, getting some good mass, building some muscle. And when you're putting on weight, a little bit of fat is going to come with it. It's just a natural thing that happens. If you're doing it the right way, that should be minimal. It should be less than if you're just dirty ass bulking, right? But if you're taking in a lot of calories and you're trying to get bigger and you're trying to get strong, you are going to put on a little bit of body fat, carnivore diet or not. You're not gonna be 10% body fat, and gain 20 pounds and still be 10% body fat. That's astronomical gains. That's crazy. I'm sure there's genetic freaks out there who can do it. If you're watching my video, you're probably not, because most of those guys get found and they're competing in competitions or they're doing some kind of sport or something like that. So if you're watching me, that probably doesn't apply to you. You're going to put on some body fat with your size. Accept that, and embrace it, and know that you're going to get bigger, you're going to get stronger, and you can always cut that fat back off, have some new muscle, and then start the cycle all over again if you need to. So what's the most important things, I think, other than obviously the food, right, the nutrition and stuff. If you come to me and say, hey, I want to put on size, I want to put on mass, I'm a hard gainer, and I'm doing that kind of stuff, and then I'm like, so what do you do for exercise? You're like, well, I run a 5K every day. I'm like, okay, that's not going to do it. That's not going to work, right? You need to be in the gym. You need to be weight training. You need to be strength training. You need to be implementing progressive overload. You need to be, you know, building every week. You need to be ascending in the weight room. You need to be, smartly, not hurting yourself, but you need to progressively be working toward getting bigger and stronger and pushing yourself, and having some pretty good intense workouts, whatever split you want to do, whether it's really high volume stuff or whatever. you need to be really working toward increasing weight in the weight room to increase weight on your body. That's pretty much how it works. Work toward getting bigger, getting stronger, making gains in the gym, and while making gains in the kitchen, doing it the right way. And that's where you will definitely start to see the benefits. On top of that, optimal rest, sleep, things like that. That's all the stuff that's going to add up and come together and help you build more muscle on your frame if you're more of a skinnier guy, right? Another thing, so what are some things you can do in the gym? One thing I like to recommend for I recommend for most people is stick to the big compound exercises, right? Like, so my workout routine right now, I just do a 3 day a week split, full body 3 times a week, and I just do the big compound moves. That's basically it. I'm seeing great results on it. I'm going to switch it up. I don't stick to one thing for too long, but it's definitely something that you guys can implement as more of a skinnier, hard gainer type of a guy. Another thing you need to be doing is always tracking your progress, right? Definitely be tracking your weight. That's one of the big ones. The scale can lie to you. The scale can fluctuate. The scale can, play tricks on you and things like that. I tell people you use the scale as a tool, but it's not the end all be all. You need to be, either checking yourself in the mirror in the same lighting all the time, or getting pictures or whatever. Have someone you trust, a loved one, your wife, whatever, or just set up a tripod and take a picture in the same lighting at the same time of day every day, preferably fasted right after waking up, whatever, and just kind of keep checking your progress as far as your gains go from pictures or whatever. You can also go off the fit of your clothes and things like that. But listen to your body. You know what I mean? Pay attention to the strength you're building in the gym. Make sure that you're writing down, you're tracking, you're logging your gains and your results in the gym, in the weight room. Making sure you're progressing in strength, that you're capable of doing more this week than you were last week. You can measure muscles. You can do all that kind of stuff. There's so many different things you can do to track your progress. And by this time, most of you guys is common sense, the things you can, check and take note of. But like I said, listen to your body. If things aren't working, if you're stalling out, you can make slight adjustments. You don't really have to make big adjustments. It might be just an extra something here and there. Another piece of chicken at dinner, a couple more pieces of bacon at breakfast, whatever it is to get some more calories in if you're kind of stalling out. And just kind of, that's the beauty of this diet. You can, it works different ways for different people. Sometimes it takes time to find out what works best for somebody. That's why I always preach to my clients to be patient and things like that, and work with me, like to help find how this works for you. And it's kind of a trial and error thing. And you got to be patient. You got to play with it. You got to be creative. You got to be experimental. And you got to be willing to, try some different things and get out of your comfort zone. So try different things. You don't have to make big drastic changes. Wow, this isn't working, so I got to go overhaul everything. That's not how it works. Make a small tweak, see if it works. If it doesn't work, make another small tweak. Eventually, you will find the thing that kickstarts growth and progress and things like that. So keep that stuff in mind. Don't get discouraged if, the gains are coming slow. You are a hard gainer after all. You're here because you're a hard gainer. As long as you're starting to see some results and you can kind of play with it and see what works the best, just keep on keeping on, and you'll eventually start seeing the progress and getting the results that you're after, right? But like I said, the potential for sustainable gains, in the weight room, muscle wise, everything, they're awesome on a carnivore diet. I've seen great improvement in every area of my life, whether it was weight loss, muscle gain, strength gain. Like I said, when I came to this, I was almost up to 300 pounds. I was pretty strong though. I could go in the gym, I could lift pretty heavy and stuff like that. And I lost weight. I lost significant weight relatively fast. And I did not see much, if any, decrease in strength. In fact, mostly gaining strength and gaining muscle and things like that. So it's a fantastic diet for that, whether you're a hard gainer or a hard loser like me, right? So that's basically what I want to talk to you guys today about. Short and sweet video. Like I said, just kind of, you do the things that I kind of talked about, play around with it, be patient, but always be experimenting, make minor tweaks here and there. you'll eventually find the things that work for you. High protein, high calories if you really need to put mass on, if you need to put weight on, and hit the iron. That's the biggest thing you can do. Make sure you're implementing a really sound weight training program. And that's going to do it for today. Like I said, go down to www.lion-dads.com, link in the description, get your free guide to starting a carnivore diet, get your shopping list, get going, like and subscribe to the channel, and share this video with somebody. Get down in the comment section. Let's talk about strategies you might have tried if you're a hard gainer, if you know somebody who is. And that's all I got for today. Until next time, I'll talk to you later. Adios.